Is this Jackery solar generator 2000 plus a replacement for your generator in your caravan or RV, or a substitute instead of having a fixed battery in your 4-drive? Let's find out. So the plan is basically to run a couple of real world tests. We're going to hook up the aircon in the van, see how long it lasts. We're going to see what the charge rate is off the solar panel, 100 watt solar panel, see what we get out of it. We'll see what the charge rate is out of the 240, and we'll see what the charge rate is out of the SIG socket. So that's what you're going to be using for. So they're the numbers you're sort of going to be chasing as to whether it's going to be right for you and whether you can replace your generator or install this in the back of the car, back of the 4-drive, and it's going to work for your needs. Now, I'm not going to run through all the tech specs in great detail because there's plenty of information, plenty of videos out there on that. These guys have been around for about 11 years, sold millions of units, so the proof's in the pudding on the sales, and the brand's going to be sticking around. So if you want to find an in-depth review on the actual full-on tech specs and your battery capacity tests and things like that, there is plenty of videos if you do a bit of a search on that. But what I'm more concerned about is the performance and what it will run. I'm going to give it a crack at running the aircon on our caravan, see how long we get out of it. It's a hot day and that's what I'll be using it for. So yeah, the only way to do it is to put it to the test. First of all, we'll run through a couple of the inclusions that you get when you get the box. The unit itself, made of plastic, it's got rubber stopper feet underneath. It's quite a sturdy unit, and got the fluted vents on the side here as well, let all the heat out. You get 3 240 volt outlets with a capacity of 10 amps each, or combined 3000 watts. So it's got an inbuilt inverter, so that'll take care of all that for you. Also over here, 2 100 watt maximum USB-C chargers and 2 18 watt maximum USB-A outlets. It also comes with SIG socket, 12 volt 10 amp SIG socket right here. It's got your backlit LED screen which will tell you your inputs, your output, your battery percentage. The LED screen, even in direct sunlight, super easy to read and gives you all the information you need. And then also you can connect to this via an app on your phone which will give you your monitoring temps. You can turn it on, off, turn your AC on, turn your 12 volt on as well, all off your phone. So we're going to my phone here. There's the app. Here you can see it. You can turn the DC on, turn 240 AC on. You can see the temperature of your battery, percentage of your battery, your input, output, everything through here. Also do some management through here as well. So that's a handy little feature to have if you've got this tucked away in a cupboard or a drawer or in the back of the ute. You can just get your phone out, operate what you need to operate, all off the phone. Very handy feature. So the dimensions of the unit, 47 centimeters wide, 37 centimeters high, 35 centimeters deep. So not overly big, takes up about the same amount of size as what a generator would take in your caravan or wherever you're going to put it. It is a bit heavy though, so it weighs 27.9 kilos. But in saying that, that's got your battery, it's got your solar regulator, your inverter, that sort of stuff as well. Because this can be solar charged, and also it can be expanded on. So you can buy other battery packs and then expand onto this, run them in series, and you're going to keep building and building and building your capacity. even running other things such as your house, say you had a power outage or you were living off grid, could be another option for what you'd want to use this for. Around the back of the unit, here, this is where you'll find extendable handle. The unit itself is on wheels, so it makes it quite easy getting around. Like I was saying, it was heavy, so having to carry it everywhere would be a bit of a mission. It's got some big sturdy grab handles on the side though to help you do that. And on the back of the unit here also is where you'll find all your inputs. So this one here is your DC expansion. So if you buy the expansion packs, comes with the lead, big chunky plug them in via that port there. On this side, the inputs, 2 DC inputs and a 240 charging input as well. Now it gets onto the important stuff. What's the capacity of this? So this one alone is 2042 watt hours. So I'm hoping running the van aircon I should get really maybe about an hour and a half, something like that. If I can get that, that'll be perfect. So usually when you're running them, you don't need it to sink that heat out of it on the afternoons before you jump into bed or whatever. You don't spend too much time in the van, but if you did need to, you could run it longer. We're going to find out how long. Charging wise, let's suss out how long it's going to take to charge. So with the unit, you get these 2 cords. One, this is your DC cigarette socket, plug in with your car while you're driving. Not expecting too much of a charge rate from that, but we'll find out. And then you get your 240 volt lead. Also what we've got, 100 watt folding solar panel. Actually magnets together, which is kind of cool. And there is the panel here. It's got your Velcro legs on the back to angle it, and then tucked in here, connection cord to the unit. This one's 100 watt, so obviously only going to be putting in up to 100 watts of charging power, so it will take quite a while if this unit's drained. But to keep up with it, if you were just running something like a fridge, it would probably keep up with it for the day. Running the SIG socket though, that's probably only the same thing. If you're driving, that's probably all it's going to be good for. If you have a fridge or something like that connected to it in the back of the car, just to maintain a bit of power while it's running, but you're not really going to get bulk charge out of that. So it's sort of averaging about 670 watts of input on 240 volt charging. So with that, from empty, it's going to take you a touch over 3 hours to get from 0 to fully charged. So that's not too bad. After settling into its charge profiles, the unit comes up to a bit over 1100 watts of input, which will mean 2 hours for charge. Let's see how we go with the cigarette socket. So there you have it, off the SIG socket, 91 watts average. So with that from empty, it's going to take you best case 22 and a half odd hours to fully charge that. So not too feasible, and because you're still going to be using it. But if you weren't and you could have it running off your car for 22 hours, that may work. But more the point of that, I would say, yeah, is just if you're driving, having it plugged in and you've got your fridge running off it, something like that, you're going to sort of keep up with it, what the current draw is. So that's the benefit of that one. Solar, I had that hooked up earlier. Yeah, same sort of deal. With that, you're going to need minimum the 200 watts of solar to get anywhere near a decent charge time on this. So, hour and a half down, panel's still out in the glaring sun. And let's have a look. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at what we're at. 5%. So that's pretty slow. With having the 100, it's alright for sort of day-to-day use. If you're just using it for small things like maybe charging phones or a fridge here or there, just something smaller. But if you're going to be using anything bigger than that sort of stuff and draining it right down, you're just not going to have the sunlight in the day running off smaller panels. So yeah, really I'd probably recommend, if you're going to be charging off solar, 200 watts minimum of solar to charge these back up. Let's get this charged back up and go plug it in the van, test it out. Quite warm in the van. So as we're on grid, it's actually saying 35 outside. Let's see if she'll run it. Yeah, it's on. Same 1.2 hours. That's 10 minutes down, 11%. Let's go see what it's like inside the van. See if it's starting to cool off or not. Should be bloody beautiful in there now. Oh, that's magic. Yeah, that's working a treat. No issues whatsoever. Ice cold. Ice cold, it's cooling down slowly. Ramping up a bit now actually. Rammed up again there for a minute, so compressor just must have re-kicked back in, but yeah, sitting at about 1200 watts. So yeah, 1.3, 1.4 hours out of this 2042 watt hour box. Not bad. So this is probably going to work pretty well. Definitely get a couple of days out of it for just taking that heat out of the van. There we go, so that's been 20 minutes now, so sort of 10% per 10 minutes. So not bad run time out of a little box that you don't need to run for too long. So yeah, the 20 odd minutes of an evening just before you get in or put the kids to bed, just to take that heat out of the van, be all you need. So yeah, really, that's 5 afternoons worth if you were doing it that way. Gotta be happy with that. Let's go jump in the van and see how cool it is though. Oh. That is mint. Beautiful in here. It's saying actually 38 outside now in the sun. So it's probably not that, it's probably about 32 in the shade, but yeah, in the sun saying 38 outside. Right in here. Cool as a cucumber, mate. Brilliant. Yeah, so look at that. And yeah, van's perfect. You could quite easily go to sleep with that, especially if the van was in the shade and not really copping any more direct heat and you just want to knock it out before you went to bed. So let's see how much longer we're going to get. With this as well, no real major heat out of anything. Like slightest bit of warmth just here, but cool air blowing out of here, the fans from the inverter. Nice and cool there, cool on the top, cool on the back as well. Doing the trick nicely. So it's still on trend with it, 70%. 5:06, so that's half an hour down, 30 minutes, 30% used. So still another hour and 10, which is what it says remaining. That's 40 minutes down, so staying on track. Still using 1% a minute, run the AC. It's been running full time. Still going, so yeah. There we go. It's just ticking over now. There we go, actually it must be down temp in there. 55 watt, so it must be just the fan running. Now what'll fix that? We'll open the door. Get the heat pumping back in there. Brrr. Nice and chilly. Still 35 outside. Beautiful in here. So we'll leave the door open and let some extra. So let some extra heat back in. Get this thing kicking back on. Let's let the coolness straight out the roof. Should kick back on shortly. There she goes again. So yeah, it was only off for sort of 2-3 minutes. Now with all that cool air running straight out the roof, that shouldn't go off again now till we're finished. So not in the usual circumstances how it would work. It would, yeah, cycle on and off, but for this test we're just going to get it cranking the whole time till it goes flat. So that's an hour down. We've got 40%, so it's going to be interesting to see if this last portion of the battery hangs in as well as what it's done so far. So let's check again in another, say, 20 minutes. Alright, so we're at an hour 20. It's bloody hot sitting in this sun, but yeah, it's dropped off just ever so slightly quicker. Very minimally amount though, but yeah, so that's hour 20 in. So we've still got another 20 minutes, so really an hour and 40 minutes worth of aircon flat out runtime. That's more than enough. So because obviously these units too with the solar input, you could be also adding to this while running. We're not doing it at the moment for the purpose of just seeing what we can get out of this. So let's see if we can get another 20 minutes out of it. So we're down to our last 10%. Still, even with everything open in here, still quite comfortable. It's knocked all that heat out of the van. It's been running for an hour and a half now. So 10% left, probably about 10 minutes. Still beautiful and warm outside. Now let's go see how much longer we get out of this last 10%. Hour and a half down now. Are we going to get to an hour 40? Let's find out. This last few percent's dropping off a little quicker. We're down to 6%, 607. So yeah, let's see what it does and how it hangs in there. So definitely a little bit higher than the 1% per minute, but it's still pretty close. It's very negligible, the difference. So let's see how we go. Let's hang in there. 5% and a flashing battery light. 4%. 609. 3%. There we go, it's fallen off this last 10%. 2. 1. There it goes. It's an hour 35. I'm still pretty impressed with that and pretty happy with that, because in the grand scheme of things, that's quite a lot of time to be running the aircon. Especially with that solar hooked up, I'd be getting quite a bit more time out of it. How much? I guess it's only going to be, time will tell, and obviously all depending on conditions and whatnot. But like as we were saying, I've got the aircon running flat out in there, not cycling, with having everything open. So that makes a difference as well. So there we have it. Just over an hour and a half run time running the aircon on my Caravan. I'll definitely be having this in the box with me all the time, especially over the summer months, to have that backup to run it if I need to on those warm days. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to run it flat out, but if I'm away for a couple of days, I can just do it for that 20 minutes and then nip that heat out of the van like I was saying earlier, and we're laughing. Yeah, so in the van, I've got the Horton 3400. So yeah, I'll throw the specs up of it now. Would you ditch your generator for this? Now look, this is grouse, but it does have its limitations. Obviously, it is a battery, so you are limited by its capacity, whereas the generator, keep topping up the fuel and keep going. But the bonuses are, it's whisper quiet. You're not going to annoy any of your fellow campers or your neighbours that you camp next to. They wouldn't even know you have it on. It's a bit heavier, whereas the generator's lighter, but then you've got to carry the fuel, things like that. It's probably not a direct replacement if you want to be running everything all the time off your generator, but if you do need it for what I'm after, it's absolutely perfect. It's portable, you can use it for many things, not just the van. So if we were to go somewhere, take another car that doesn't have the battery set up in it, I'll just throw that in, I can throw a fridge in there and we're set. So I like that about this, the whole portability of it all. Take it where you want, do what you want, go on a picnic, wheel it down, easy to get around with that handle. That's the niche that this fits into. If you want to find out more about these things and find out your options of what sort of setup you're after, what the costs are depending on sales and things like that they're having, jump down to the website below here, check them out, have a read, find out if they're right for you, because they're not cheap. It's not a cheap investment, but it is a worthy investment if it suits your needs. Now Jackery offer 5 years warranty on these units, and that's pretty impressive. We've been around for 11 years, you know the product support's there, so that's probably why sticking with a brand that's known like Jackery is pretty important. I hope this was helpful for you watching this. There is plenty of other videos out there if you want to further your knowledge on these units themselves. Heaps of people have done different bits and pieces on them, but for me, I mainly wanted to see how it would go running the aircon in the van, because that's the main use I'll be using it for. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope it was helpful. Leave a comment below. Tell me if there's other things you want to find out what it can do. If there is any other tests and things like that you want me to do on that, drop a comment in the comments section for us. Let us know if this is helpful as well. If we get enough questions and I've got the ability to do the tests and the knowledge to do the tests, I'll put together another video of that sort of stuff for you. But hopefully with what I've done in this one, it's able to help you out and make a bit of an informed choice on whether it's right for you. Thanks for watching, guys. It's been a pleasure. See you on the next video.